Okay, today we're going to be having a look at how to create a similar sort of slide as this. It is a quite popular slide. Many large organisations use it normally to show a geographic presence. More than likely, probably the offices. Not really my style of slide personally, but it is used quite widely. So basically, we're just going to go through the process of how we would create this quite accurately. So we are going to need a few additional tools. Here is a vector map of the UK because we are going to be doing the UK map today. However, there's nothing stopping you using the exact same principles, but maybe a global or European presence. But this vector here basically means that we can change the colour, or we can ungroup it, and so on. So PowerPoint is recognising this as an auto shape rather than a image file. The second thing we will need is our postcodes. You can also use longitude or latitude coordinates, but postcodes is very sufficient, so we're going to use that. Now, in my experience, sometimes UK postcodes have been confused with the US. Doesn't happen all the time, but just to play safe, I'm going to really emphasise that these postcodes are in the UK by just putting comma UK afterwards. To avoid the manual task of this, I'm just going to create a very simple Excel formula which will concatenate these postcodes with the string value of the UK. And get the ampersand in. And now you can see it's placed comma UK at the back, at the end of the postcode. Now I'm going to drag that handle down to automatically populate the rest of the cells. The one other final tool we'll need is some sort of geocoding software. I'm using GPS Visualizer, which you can just Google or just click in the address bar at the top. Looks basic, but it is very effective. There are a few other products out there, but this is my option. So at the top there, I've clicked geocode and address. Then this page opens, and we are doing multiple addresses. So we're going to select that option. There's a few sort of drop downs here which you can change and play around with. We're not going to focus on that right now, but this more map options basically will take you into a separate page where you can resize the map which is exported at the end when you finish geocoding. You can even change the colour of the pins, choose whether or not to have labels on or off or not, etc. etc. So up here in the input window, I'm now just going to paste my postcodes in and just start geocoding. And down here are the results. It also shows me the longitude and latitude of the postcodes, and it's just a process of waiting for that to finish. Normally this button up here will re-highlight itself once it's finished, and now I am going to draw my map. Okay, so here we have satellite style Google map, and we can see all our postcodes plotted on there quite nicely. Just to make our life a little bit easier, we're going to change it to Google Terrain, and basically the objective here is to use the zoom tool or shift tool to just basically get as much of that map into the window screen as possible without losing any of our markers, but also making sure that we've got a nice part of the landmass included which we can use to line up our map into the PowerPoint. So I'm quite happy with that, and all I'm using here is the print screen button on the keyboard, which basically resides near the delete key. So I'm going to print screen, and now I'm going to come back into my PowerPoint, and I'm just going to paste it onto my slide. In screen grab, quite a bit of waste here, so I've gone into my format tab on the ribbon, and I'm just using the crop tool, and this, by dragging these black handles, will allow me to crop down this image. This makes it a bit more manageable. Once we have that in place, what we can then do, we can send this to the back, so it's behind our vector graphic, and I can do that with these tools here, or I can just right hand click as a quick shortcut and send to the back. To make that map visible, all I'm going to do is just change the transparency on my vector, and on this occasion I'm just changing it to 44%. Really, I just want to make sure that I can see the points which I'm going to plot without losing too much definition of the map. Now, importantly here, we are not going to resize the graphic to fit the image, we're going to resize the image to fit the graphic, and in every aspect of resizing we will be holding down the shift key so that it remains in proportion. And unfortunately this is just a manual task. I'm using this part of the UK here to line up my image to my vector. Just keep on going. If dragging the image with the mouse is a little bit heavy, you can use the cursor keys to move it and nudge it down, and if you were to use control whilst holding the cursor keys, it will also kind of give you micro nudges. Almost there, but it's not too much more to do. Can be fiddly the first time we do this, but after a couple of attempts at this, it will be calm. Okay, that for me is good enough, and now I'm just going to use a marker, and all I'm going to do here is use an auto shape which has no line on it, and it doesn't have to be this size, you can make it however you want. And then all I'm going to do is just plot them on the map. Now again, if you want to use the cursor keys to line them up, you can do, because it's a bit more sensitive. I'm also holding down Control Shift before I click the dot, and basically this just duplicates the shape and leaves the original dot which you've had on the slide, rather than going up and keep inserting all the shapes and circles. So Control Shift and drag, and now we have all our points plotted. I'm now going to remove the background Google image, and by clicking back onto auto shape I can turn the transparency back to 0, and this will enable you to create a perfectly reliably sourced UK map of various postcodes you pasted in. Okay, thank you.